welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Caroline, and today we're going to be doing kind of a beginner's flow. It'll be full body, but we're going to focus a little more on the hips and the legs. So if you have any blocks handy, I would go ahead and grab two. If you don't have any, no worries. You can just use the floor, we'll be fine. So yes, before we get started, I just want us all to find a comfortable seated position. You can close your eyes and start to focus on your breath. Breathing in through the nose to the belly and breathing out through the mouth. Breathe in through your nose to the belly, the side of the ribs, all along the back of the spine. And exhale through the mouth like you're fogging a mirror. Inhale deeply. And exhale through the mouth. And on the next breath in, as you breathe out, we'll breathe out through your nose. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through your nose. We'll bring your hands into prayer. Just starting to bring a thought or a person into your mind who's going through it, who needs a little extra support. Whether it's someone close to you or a little bit further away, the power of prayer it's really amazing. So we'll just take this time to kind of offer this practice up to the people who need a little extra thought. Whether it's medical workers, people who are sick, a friend who's going through a tough time, and we'll just dedicate this practice and offer it up to them. So bowing in to your heart. And we'll inhale, lift your head, and exhale, release your arms down by your side. So before we get moving, it's kind of fascinating. I did my teacher training at Swan River Yoga in New Orleans, in Mid-City. And every month they have a beautiful essay that's been written kind of so that all of the teachers can share thoughts and we can kind of all teach from this same theme. So if you want to go onto their website, it's just www.swanriveryoga.com. And I highly recommend just going and checking out some of these thoughts and ideas and essays that are out there. The one for this month, and it's the last day of March. It's March 87th, if you didn't know. And this whole focus of the month was written by one of my favorite teachers, Keith Porteous. And the teaching is all on this Yoga Sutra. I was going to share it with you. It's Yoga Sutra 233. And the Yoga Sutras are just this collection of texts. They're one of the oldest written. It's almost like the Bible of yoga. But they're kind of like, it all gives you reasons as to how the yoga practice can help us with mental afflictions, with the chitta vrittis, which are, it's a Sanskrit word for the whirlings of the mind. And there's one Yoga Sutra that says, when disturbed by negative thoughts, opposite ones should be thought of. Positive thoughts should be thought of. And it's hard for us to do that in this time, but what, a powerful teaching for us to think about. Because this idea of taking a negative thought and turning it into a positive thought could be viewed as like spiritual bypassing, but we don't want to do that. What we want to do is, instead of being so focused on the numbers, the statistics, all of the news that we are hearing, maybe you can kind of flip the script around and see what really beautiful and positive things are coming from this hard and difficult situation. So looking at nature, I heard recently that the hole in the ozone is the smallest it's been in like 100 years or something. And it's just really profound that we have these good news resources. And literally there's a website called the Good News Network. And if you need to just like influx your brain with some positive material, do that during this time. It's a form of medicine so that we can continue to thrive, continue to have this little voice within our head that's like telling us that everything's going to be all right, and really listening to that and trying to, as Keith calls it, flipped the script. So we're going to be working on the hips, and this is oftentimes an emotional place for people to work. I don't know what it is. It's like some magical outlet of release happens when we really get into our hips pretty deeply. But we're going to be doing it nice and safely, and we're just going to be focusing a lot on connecting to these positive thoughts, connecting to these little glimpses of hope. So get started laying down on your back. We're going to come into a bridge pose. I like to start all of my classes with a little bit of warm up for the glutes and for the core. And I find that the floor is just a really helpful place to begin your practice. It's a nice place to check in with the alignment of your spine. It's a good place to listen and feel your breath. Use the floor as feedback and feel how you and the floor have this exchange of energy, of you kind of pressing down into the floor, but the floor lifting you up. And we can use the ground to kind of help support us and to help keep us connected to what really matters. So as you're here, if you have a block, great, you can put one in between your thighs in its medium direction. And if not, no worries, I'm just going to use the block for myself. So we're going to lift your hips up a couple of inches off the floor. And from here, you might notice that your bum sinks down, and we want to flip that script where we want to squeeze your bum so that it feels like it's kind of lifting up away from the floor. And we also want to find this little subtle tuck of the tailbone. If your knees feel tight, you can walk your feet out a little bit further. And if if you're not using a block, just imagine there's one there so you can hug and draw in the energy into this region. And we'll just take a few little pulses in the hips. And we don't want to go all the way down and arch our back. We just want to keep the spine lengthening and just pulse really tiny pulses, starting to warm all of this up, the back body. And take a few breaths here. Something that is really interesting to me is that our glutes and our hip flexors they are in this kind of symbiotic relationship where one of them has to contract for another one to open. And so doing these pulses, we're already starting to open the fronts of the hips by accessing the glutes. And a lot of people don't use their glutes throughout their daily life. Oftentimes they call it it's like a snoozing glutes syndrome. So it's hard for them to wake up, and this is always just a really good thing to do to warm up and start any practice. And from here, we're going to stretch your wrists, so take your arms up to the ceiling, and we'll use your right hand to pull your left fingers back, and take 3 breaths here. Last one. And we'll switch hands and do the same 3 big breaths here. Your glutes might be getting a little tired, that's good. And on your last breath, we'll release the arms and lower down 1 vertebra at a time. And we'll take the block its thinnest direction in between your thighs and reach your legs up to the ceiling. If you don't have a block, we can just press onto our thighs. So I'll show you as we get into it. So interlace your fingers behind your head. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, lift your head and shoulders. Squeeze the elbows together and press your head back into your hands. Pull the core in and down. Inhale and slowly lower the head without letting your ribs flare up. And exhale and lift up head and shoulders. We're going to take your right hand and press it into the block. If you don't have a block, you can just press it into your right thigh. And really pull and squeeze the legs towards you. This is getting the hip flexors activated. Bring the right hand behind the head. Inhale and slowly lower your head down. Exhale and lift up head and shoulders. Take your left hand, press and squeeze it into the block or into your left thigh. Pull the thighs towards you. Bring the left hand behind the head. Inhale and slowly lower your head down without letting your rib cage pop up. Exhale and lift up head and shoulders. This time we're gonna bend your right knee to a 90-degree angle and take your right hand and press it into the block. Squeeze your legs back into you. Or you can take the hand and press it into the right thigh. We'll bring the right hand behind the head. Right leg lifts. Inhale and lower your head down. Exhale and lift up, head and shoulders. Bend your left knee. Left hand presses into the block or the left thigh. Bring the left hand behind the head, left leg lifts. Inhale and slowly lower. Exhale and lift up, head and shoulders. This time we're gonna let the legs drift away about a couple of inches and then take your right hand into the block or your right thigh. Wow, it's getting a little hard. Bring the right hand behind the head, legs come back to center. Inhale and lower your head down. Exhale and lift up, head and shoulders. Legs drift away. Left hand presses into the block. Squeeze into the block and pull your legs back. Bring the left hand behind the head. Inhale and lower, and we'll remove the blocks over to the side. Okay, good little warm up. So we're all gonna come into tabletop on hands and knees. You can put your blocks towards the front of your mat. Spread the fingers, point your finger points forward. And we'll just take a couple of circles, just warming up the wrists. So go clockwise. You can keep your toes tucked under, bring your seat towards your heels and add in a little foot and toe stretch. And then we'll go the other direction. And we'll come back to center. We'll send your right toes back behind you, but keep them on the floor. And then we're gonna bend your right knee and try to keep your belly hugging in. And pull your hips a little more to the right. Notice how often we wanna just sag our hips into the grounded leg, but we wanna lift up. And from here, we're gonna pulse this right leg. Wanna kind of imagine you're stamping your right foot up to the floor. Keep the head lifted. Oftentimes, I see people stick their chin way forward. But we want to keep more of a neutral neck position, chin moving towards the chest. Keep that left hip moving over to the right just a little bit, and then we'll release this right knee down to the floor. Let the belly sink down. Inhale, lift the gaze. Exhale, tilt the tailbone down, round your spine. Inhale, come to neutral and extend your left toes back. We'll bend your left knee and pulse here. Checking in with the neck and pulling this right hip over a little bit more to the left side. Keep breathing for 3, 2, last one, and release the left knee. We'll lower onto your forearms. And from here, we'll do some kind of scapular push-ups. I like to do these a lot, so they're really good for mobilizing the scapula and just for kind of preparing the shoulders for all of the weight bearing that we might be doing. So keep the elbows directly under your shoulders. Arms can be either perfectly parallel or you can interlace your fingers, whatever feels better on your shoulders. And we're just gonna soften the chest down and then press down into the floor and lift the chest up away from the floor. And we'll do this a few times. Starting to feel the muscles in the chest start to work in the front of the chest. And we're also getting some of these rotator cuff muscles fired up so that they can be fired up so they can support us. Okay, and then from here, we're gonna come so that the chest is kind of down a little bit towards the floor, like sinking down, but then press down into the floor just enough to feel your ribs pull up towards your shoulder blades. And then tuck the toes and send your hips up high for dolphin. So in dolphin, we're gonna take the right knee into the chest and then step it down. Take the left knee into the chest, step it down. We're gonna march like this. So it is really good for getting the hips strong. So I feel like in a lot of yoga classes, we often kind of sink into the hips and get them, nice and flexible and open, but we often don't work on strengthening them enough. So this is what this is helping us do. And we're gonna come onto your knees. And we'll bring your hands to your hips and rise on up. You can use blocks to get here if you need. And we're gonna shift the weight into the right knee and step your left foot forward. So from here, we wanna sandwich, so bring your right hand to the belly, left hand to the back. Keep this area nice and tight and contained and squeeze your right glute just a little bit. And from here, we'll take the arms up, opening up this right hip. If your knees feel uncomfortable in this position, you can take some blankets underneath your knees. And we're all gonna bring your hands to the floor and bring your left knee back, tabletop. Bring your hands to your hips, rise on up. Shift the weight into the left knee and step your right foot forward. Left hand to the belly, right hand to the low back. Pull this area in. Feel all that queso I ate last night. Okay, take the hands up, breathe in. Keep the left glute firing. Keep the neck long. And we'll bring your hands to the floor and step back, tabletop pose. Do a few rounds of cat and cow. So as you inhale, lift your tailbone, belly and rib cage sinks down. Exhale, tilt the tailbone down, round your spine. Inhale, lift your gaze. Drag your shoulder blades down away from your ears. Exhale, round spine. We'll come to a neutral tabletop pose. And we're gonna bring your knees together to touch. Extend the left knee open to the side. We'll bring the left knee in and extend the left leg back. Bend your left knee down and take it open to the left side. We're gonna keep doing this just to work on this hip abduction and also getting a little bit of work for the glute medius. So the glute medius is like, if you pinch yourself right up here, that's this big muscle that has a lot of control with our hip external rotation. So we want to get that one strong as well. Okay, 2 more. And then we'll do the other side. If you need to take a break in your wrists, you can come on to your toes and roll out your wrists, shake them out. And we'll do the other side. So right leg extends back, hug it in and open up. And we want to try not to move your hips too much. It's a little bit of a less is more kind of idea. You don't have to take this knee all the way up to the ceiling. You're still getting a lot of work by just doing the minimal. And we'll keep going. Notice if you want to stick your hip to the left. You want to pull that in. Last one. And bring your right knee down. Come onto your forearms. We'll do the same thing, so make sure that your shoulders are directly under your elbows, and we'll tuck the toes and lift up into dolphin. From here, we'll step your feet together. Lift the right leg up. Big breath in. And as you exhale, we'll bend the right knee. And without moving your hips, without moving your pelvis, we're going to do some circles with this right knee. And again, less is more. We want to focus on lifting the waist high up to the ceiling. And go the other way. And then release this right foot down. Extend the left leg up, breathe in. Exhale, bend the left knee, and without moving your pelvis around, just move it's the head of the femur that's kind of gliding around the hip joint. We'll go the other way. And we'll extend your left toes down, come onto your knees, take a little child's pose, feet to heels. We'll use your hands to support your forehead. And just breathe for a moment here, all along the spine. And I want you to think of something really positive that's happened to you since this quarantine. Maybe it's time you've gotten to spend writing or learning or spending time with loved ones. Just something really positive. Just being humble, whatever that may be. When you're ready, we'll take the arms out long and press back into a downward facing dog. A lot of people have this idea that we need to sink our chest down to the floor in a down dog, but it's not a really great position for the shoulders. So what I want you guys to do is think about lifting your armpits up away from the floor, and then bend your knees a little bit and take your hips up higher. Take your waistline up higher. And we want to bring your biceps up to the ceiling and wrap the triceps so they're pointing down towards your mat. Squeeze the bottoms of the shoulder blades. We'll inhale, lift the right leg. And exhale, step your right foot forward. If you need to use your hand, take your right hand and bring it up. Lower onto the left knee and the top of the left foot. And from here, we'll cactus the arms. You want your elbows to be about in the same line as your shoulders. We don't want them to be going far back. We just want to feel the scapula. Feel them really come down away from the ears and pull towards each other as you squeeze the left glute and lift up through your rib cage. Hands to the floor. Step the left foot forward and fold in. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, release the arms down by your side. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, step the right foot back. Lower onto the right knee, top of the right foot, and we'll goalpost the arms. Squeeze the right glute as you lift the rib cage up away from the pelvis. Check in with the arms. Bring your hands to the floor. Step the left foot back, downward facing dog. We'll bring your right knee into your chest and then step it down. Left knee into the chest, step it down. We're going to keep doing this action, kind of reinforcing this memory pattern, reinforcing kind of what the muscles are learning. And maybe you start to feel little feedback from your hips, the fronts of the hips. And from here, we'll pause and down dog. I definitely feel a little more warmth on the fronts of the hips. So we'll inhale, lift your gaze, step or jump to the front of the mat. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, release the arms down by your side. Inhale, arms lift. We'll hook your thumbs. And we'll exhale, arch to the right. You can stay here. But if you want to add a little hip flexion, let's just start to lift the right knee. And root down through the left leg, reach up through the fingertips. Inhale, come back up to center. And exhale, release it all down. We'll inhale, lift the arms, hook your thumbs the other way. Lengthen the tailbone down, squeeze the glutes, and arch to the left. Stay here. Or lift the left knee up. And take about 3 breaths. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, release. Stand tall at the front of your mat. Mountain pose. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, step back, plank pose. From here, we're going to lower onto the knees. And I want you to lift your right knee and lower. Lift your left knee and lower. We're going to keep doing this action. Try to keep the neck nice and long. And if you want to, you can be in full version and just tap the knee down one at a time. And from here, we're going to meet with both knees on the ground. Slowly lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Cobra or Upward Dog. And exhale, sit back, Downward Facing Dog. Big breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale, lift the left leg. And exhale, step your left foot outside of the left hand. We'll lower onto the knee. And you can use blocks here so that you can get a little more height. We want to mostly work on not kind of sinking into the hips, but instead rooting the tailbone down and using the glutes. Remember that action of when one muscle contracts, another muscle opens up. So we're getting that action right here, the contraction of the glute and the opening of the hip. We're going to stay here, or you can lift the right leg, and we'll take the left arm up to the ceiling. Gaze can be down to the right hand. Make sure the left knee is in line, and the right hand, and squeeze the right glute. We're going to bring both hands down to the blocks or to the floor. Walk your hands forward, and we'll take your right foot open or over to the left. From here, we'll fly the arms back, kind of coming into a curtsy squat. And then we'll bring your hands back to the floor, step back into your lunge, kind of more of a lizard pose. You're gonna take your left block outside of the left foot, or just bring your hands to the floor, and then we're gonna straighten your left leg. Reach out through both legs evenly, and keep the spine long. We're gonna lower onto the right knee. Bring your right hand to the floor as you send your left leg back, coming into a modified side plank. Left foot can be on the floor, or left leg can be lifted. Keep this right shoulder blade really squeezing onto the back of the ribs. And you can stay here, or you can add a little quad stretch by grabbing on to the left ankle. And even here, focus on lengthening your tailbone towards your kneecaps, towards the back of the knees, sorry. And we'll slowly release, tabletop pose. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, press back, downward facing dog. Settle here. Go back to your intention, your offering for your practice. And remind yourself that in this moment, you're safe. Inhale, lift up the right leg. And exhale, step the right foot outside of the right hand. And you can take your blocks again to the inside of the right foot. We'll stay here or lower onto the left knee. And remember, lengthen and kind of tuck the tailbone. You might feel the need to come up a little bit higher up onto your fingertips. When you do that, that's good. We want to kind of resist the sinking, but feel the strength that comes from that. And then you can start to feel the muscles relax and open a little bit more. So squeeze that left glute. And then if you want, you can lift the left knee and take the right arm up from a side, nice twisted lunge. Gaze can be down to the left hand and fire up that left shoulder blade underneath the left side of the ribs. Keep the right knee in line too. And then release the right hand down. We'll take the right block to the other side of the right foot. And from here, we'll straighten the right leg. Keep the spine long. Stay up on your fingertips. And slowly lower onto the left knee. And ground your left hand as you send the right leg back. Modified side plank. You can keep the right foot on the floor, or you can bend your right knee and grab onto the ankle. Squeeze the right glute as you kind of tuck your tailbone. One more breath. And slowly release. Coming into tabletop pose. Let your belly sink down. Inhale, lift the gaze. Exhale, tuck the tailbone. Hug the ribs in. Expand through the back of the body. And we'll slowly lower. Tuck your toes, seat to heels. Pick up the knees and press back into downward dog. From here, we're going to come into a little happy squat. So angle your toes out. Walk your hands back towards your feet. And bend your knees deeply. Reach your arms out long. Take a few breaths here. Remember that sensation of lifting the armpits. You can do that here as well. And we'll bring your hands to your hips and rise all the way on up to stand. We'll bring your feet together and lift the right knee in front of the chest. We want the knee to be up about as high as your hip, and then start to internally rotate the thigh by taking the right foot away from the midline and then bring it back in. Take the right foot open to the side and then bring it back in. You want to keep the knee where it is, just kind of pressing the lower leg out to the side. From here, we're going to stay. Lift your left arm up and press the right foot away from you, open it up to the side. And then we're going to step your right foot forward and lift up your left knee. And we're going to do that same action, knee is up as high as the hip, and then just internally rotate and bring it back to center. Internally rotate and center. Last one. And then we're going to stay and lift your right arm up as you press the left foot away. Step the left foot forward and take the right knee in front of the chest. Hands to prayer. We're going to fly back, warrior three. Tap the toes to the floor and lift back up. Bring the right knee in front of the chest as you inhale. Exhale, fly back, warrior three. Tap the toes, lift them back up. Bring the right knee in front of the chest. One more time. Right leg flies back. Tap the toes, lift it back up. Bring the right knee in front of the chest. And then we're going to come back into that curtsy squat. So right foot comes back behind you as you reach your arms back. Low belly towards the thighs. Squeeze your hips in. Now bring your hands to the blocks or to the floor as you lift your right leg back behind you, warrior three. Right foot, the toes are pointing down towards the floor. And from here, we'll take your left arm out. And then you can kind of windmill those left arm forward and back. If you want a little more challenge, you can bring your right hand to your right hip. And we'll bring the hands to the blocks, release this right foot down, bend your knees. Pressure your hips back, full breath here. Bring your hands to your hips, rise on up, use your glutes, and take the left knee forward. Hands to prayer, big breath in. As you exhale, fly back, warrior three. Tap the left toes, and inhale, rise back up. Exhale, fly back, warrior three. Tap the toes, rise back on up. Last one. Tap, and come back up, and then we'll curtsy squat. Belly towards the thighs, hug the hips towards the left. And we we might have to do another one on this side because I forgot it earlier. We'll bring your hands to the blocks. Lift your left leg back up to center. We'll stay in warrior three. If you want that challenge, you can bring that right arm out and just kind of wave it forwards and backwards, or you can do it by bringing the left hand to the left hip. A little harder to balance when we've got this distraction, right? We'll bring your hands to the blocks, and we're gonna come back into that curtsy squat. So right foot comes behind you, send the arms out. Take a big breath here, hips hug to the left. Exhale, hands to the blocks, or to the floor. Step your left foot next to your right. Bend your knees. Relax your head. Shake your head yes and no. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Keep lifting the armpits and send your waist back behind you. Few big breaths here. Inhale, lift the right leg. And exhale, bring the right knee towards the right elbow. Inhale, right leg goes up and back. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Two more. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, squeeze it in. Last one, but this time we're gonna stay. Right knee, right elbow. And just let the right knee come down so it's right behind the right wrist. We're gonna take your right foot to the left, and then we're gonna lower down for pigeon pose, but we wanna keep it active. So you can bring your hands back onto your right thigh. You can use your blocks. And same thing that we've been working on here, just tucking the tailbone and squeezing the left glute. So we wanna find this length, we don't wanna compress the low back. And from here, you can stay, or you can bend your left knee and grab on to the inside of the left foot. And from here, we might get a nice stretch through the pecs, so take it easy. We want to keep the hips lifting up away from the floor if we can, or you can slide a block underneath if you need a little extra support. You can lift the right arm up. And then we'll bring your hands to the floor. Bring the left foot to the floor. And we're going to come to the outside edge of the left foot as you stack your feet and lift the right arm for side plank. You can bring the right foot out in front of you. It's like a kickstand for a little extra support. And we actually will all meet there, so if you are in a plank, side plank, step the right foot forward. The toes are going to be pointing the same direction as your face. And then we're going to slowly lower the hips and take the right arm out long. Big breath here. You should feel a nice opening through the side of the right hip. And then we're going to press on through the feet, lift your hips, right arm reaches forward. And slowly release. Hips come down. Big breath in. Exhale, take it up and over. From here, we can either bring your hands to the floor. We're all going to meet in downward dog. If you want, you can stack the right foot on top of the left, ground the right hand, find plank, and then press back down dog. However you need to get there. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Inhale, take it up high. Exhale. Two more. And on the last one, we'll stay. Left knee to left elbow and slide the left knee down as you bring this left foot more to the right. Come onto the top of the right thigh. And we'll come on up for your active pigeon. So remember, tuck the tailbone, squeeze the right glute since that's the hip we're stretching. You can stay here or you can add in a little quad stretch, grabbing the inside of the right foot. We can stay here or you can take the left arm up. Take a few breaths. We'll bring your hands to the floor. Come to the outside edge of the right foot and you can lift up into side plank. We'll step your left foot forward and then lower down slowly, slowly, slowly. As you inhale, lift it up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, reach it up. And you can either stack this left foot on top of the right, find your plank, press back down dog, or just meet us there in a downward facing dog. Going back to these practices of learning how to take a negative thought and turn it into a positive. From here, we'll walk your toes in just a little bit. Bring your big toes to touch and your knees to touch. And we're gonna take a few hops. You don't have to go all the way up into a handstand. Just getting your feet off the floor is really, really great work. So from here, we're just gonna donkey kick, just like bringing your heels towards your seat and kind of jump up a couple of times. It helps to do it on the breath out. You might have a little more control. And we'll all step forward and fold in. Standing forward fold at the front of the mat. Bend your knees. Inhale, lift the arms, chair pose. We'll interlace your fingers behind your head and press your head back into your hands. From here, shift the weight into the left foot and slide the right leg back behind you. Kind of in a tilted lunge, tilted crescent. Use this left glute, really wrap it down underneath your left hip. Step the right foot forward, keep the hips tugging together, and then switch your weight into the right foot as you glide your left toes back. Step your left foot forward, chair pose, arms reach up. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Last one. Get a little bit lower. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, step back, plank. Tuck the tailbone, squeeze your belly in. Press on through the fingertips. And send your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Few big breaths here. Inhale, lift the gaze. Step or jump forward. Exhale, fold in. Take your blocks on their highest setting if you have them. If not, we'll all just meet and stand. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, release the arms. Okay, so this is one of my favorite hip stretches to do. We're gonna bring your right ankle on top of the left knee, up above the kneecap. And then you're gonna send your hips back as if you're gonna go to sit in a chair. And we wanna work on kind of this hip hinging, just keeping the spine really long, but finding this deep fold in your hips. And you can bring your hands down to the blocks if you have them. If not, you can just rest your hands. You can grab onto one knee and one foot and you can stay here. And notice the tendency, we all have to want to sway your hips to the left and really pull them in and hug them together. Okay, so this is a really good place to just stay and feel and breathe into the stretch. If you want to go deeper, you can bring your hands to the blocks on your lowest setting or down to the floor. And this is just a fun little option. You can bend your elbows and hook your right shin on top of your elbows. And from here we can hook your right foot kind of just right on the outside of the left elbow. And we can start to lean forward and maybe come into like a little crow doodad. Maybe if you're really strong, I don't know if I have it in me today, but you can start to send that left leg straight back behind you. It's pretty tricky. Maybe not today. And when you're ready, we'll slowly rise back on up, hands to your hips, and we'll take the right knee forward and release it down. Just notice the difference, and we'll do the other side. So you'll, once your block's on the highest setting, cross your left ankle over the right knee, and we'll send your hips back as you bring your hands down to the blocks or to support your foot and your knee. Take a few good big breaths here. You can bend your right knee as much or as little as you want. And just work on finding that little bit of lift through the right hip. Oftentimes we want to sag it down, but you want to keep it level with the other one. And if you want to explore that kind of version of crow pose, you can hook this left foot around the right arm, and you can start to lean forward a little bit. Maybe extend that leg back. We'll all stay for 2 more breaths. And bring your hands to your hips. Rise up slowly. Left knee comes forward. And relax it down. Dance it up. Good work. Kick your blocks out of the way. And we'll all come into a large wide-legged forward fold. So bring your feet as wide as is comfortable to you. Generally, if you take your arms out by your side, your ankles and your wrists should be about the same distance. We'll lengthen the tailbone down and really focus on pulling the core in and up and lengthening through the spine. You can close your eyes here. Working on this groundedness through the legs, but this buoyancy through your chest. And from here, we'll take it into a forward fold. Hands come to the floor or to blocks. Keep the spine long. We'll bend into your left knee, send your hips way back. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, bend your right knee, send your hips way back. Inhale, center. Exhale, fold. You can grab onto opposite ankles, or you can just grab onto your ankles and maybe go from side to side, bending one knee at a time. These adductors are also really important for us to stretch when we're working on hips. They govern a lot of the connection between our knees and our hips. And from here, we'll just stay in a big wide-legged forward fold. We'll bring your hands to your hips, root down through the legs to rise on up. We'll point your left toes to the back of the mat and bend your left knee. We'll take the arms out for warrior two. Make sure the tops of the hips are level. And kind of externally rotate this left leg. We'll inhale, reach back, peaceful warrior. And exhale, side angle, left arm to left thigh, right arm up and over. Inhale, rise up, warrior two. Exhale, reach back, peaceful warrior. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, side angle, left arm to left thigh, right arm reaches towards the left, or just right over the left foot. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to your hips. Point your left toes forward and the right toes towards the front of your mat. Find your warrior two here. Inhale, reach back, peaceful warrior. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, reach back. Peaceful warrior. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, rise up. Bring your hands to your hips. Point your right toes in the same direction as your left. And we'll step or jump your feet together. And we'll all come to lay on your back. So we'll have your knees into your chest. Feel your energy as it settles down towards the earth. We'll do a few more little stretches for your hips. And then we'll come into Shavasana, the final rest. So first we'll ground your feet. Cross your right ankle over the left knee. And we'll interlace your fingers behind the left thigh or the top of the left shin. Bring your chin towards your chest. Keep your feet engaged, whether it's flexed or pointed, it doesn't much matter. And we'll add in a little twist. So take the arms out wide, palms face up, and we want to keep the legs as they are, but just slowly begin to drop your knees to the left. And you might find that the bottom of the right foot finds the floor, and that's great, that's what we want. And we'll just take a few breaths here. It's a nice opening for this right hip. Inhale, rise back on up to center. And change the crossing of the legs. We'll interlace your fingers behind the right thigh or on top of the right shin. Enjoy a few breaths here. We'll take the arms open wide and slowly drop your knees to the right. And the bottom of the left foot finds the floor. Let yourself really be present. Be here with your mind and your body in this exact moment. We'll take one more breath. And slowly come onto your back, hugging both knees into the chest. And then we'll just let the knees drop away from each other. You can rock from side to side a little bit just to get those adductors to open up. And hug your knees into your chest and slowly find your final rest, Shavasana. Breathe in through your nose. And exhale through your mouth like you're fogging a mirror. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through the mouth. And this time we'll breathe in and then hold your breath at the top of the inhale. And we'll release in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just let it go through the mouth. Relax your jaw. And let the tongue fall down from the top of the mouth. Let your eyes feel like pools of water. Feel the support of the ground beneath you. Notice areas where your body is touching the mat. And notice areas where you're touching the floor. If you would like to stay here longer, I encourage you to pause your video. As soon as you're ready, we'll move your fingers and your toes. Going back to that intention you set for your practice, for that person, groups of people who might need a little more help, a little more sense of security. Bring your knees into your chest. Roll over to the right side to pause in the fetal position. And then use your hands to press yourself up. We'll come to a cross-legged position, stacking your ribs just right over your pelvis and bringing the hands into prayer. Bowing into this idea of bringing more good into your life, bringing more positivity. Allowing yourself to dive into that and to feel that goodness when we really, really need it the most. Bow into your body, to your health, and into this collective idea that we all want to do what we need to do so that we can resume our life's activities. So thank you guys for practicing. Enjoy any of the other videos that I have on here for you. There will be a lot more content coming out, but have a beautiful rest of your day, and thank you so much.